What's up, guys? Thank you for taking the time to spend a little time with me. I always appreciate that. And hey, it's that time of the year. This time it's coming courtesy of a leak, but it's that time of the year. You know, people are winding down on Madden 22. Some people have put the game down completely. We all know the game has its struggles, has its issues, has its things that's well requested, and it has its own bugs that a lot of people have acknowledged. We know that. But even with all that said, Madden 23 is on the horizon, so I'm sure people are waiting to see what the game will offer. And here we go. We have information here, courtesy of Sports Gamers Online. So let me give them credit. Let me scroll back up here. Full credit goes to Sports Gamers Online. That is Mike Straw right there. Go check out his video as well. He's basically giving you the information that they have. But again, a huge shout out to Sports Gamers Online who provided this information. And I'm just giving my 2 cents. You know, some of you guys have been asking for me to give my thoughts on it. I've been relatively quiet about it because, again, it's not my information. And at this point, you guys know how I approach it. With Madden, it's a wait and see. It's a wait and see until I have the ability myself to read an in-depth blog or furthermore, play the game. And that's where it's always going to determine whether or not something is good, bad, needs work, etc., etc. But what I will do in this video is I will read these things and I will give you my thoughts on what I feel about what it sounds like. And that's it. That's all I can do. I will give you my thoughts on whether or not it sounds like a good idea or not, or whether I'm intrigued or not. So let's jump right into it. I don't want to hold you guys too long. Let's get right into this thing. So the first thing they say here, hit everything. Says the first new system is known as Hit Everything. And real quick, I always want to say this for you guys wondering why I'm looking this way. I'm reading off the computer, so, just letting y'all know that. But anyway, it says here, this system, according to EA Sports, will see the game take a step back from animation-driven gameplay. I'm going to pause for a moment and say that again. Take a step back from animation-driven gameplay. If you guys know me, if you've been rocking with me for a while, or even if you're relatively new and you've heard me talk about Madden, what is the main thing I talk about? Physics being more important, physics being more prevalent, and physics dictating the animation. I always say this. The game has to allow physics to augment outcomes. Whether the game is fully physics driven or not, if it's not full on real-time physics, the very least that you need is a physics system that can augment animation or drive the animation. So there it is again. It says this system, according to EA Sports, will see the game take a step back from animation-driven gameplay. Okay, the Hit Everything system will see players have more organic and consistent tackling results when trying to hit players around the field. Players will use the hit stick to trigger physics-driven animations that reward who you are as a tackler and how much impact you brought to a pile. Now, this is where I have a lot of questions, and this is why my thought about this is to be determined. Does it sound good? Yes, in theory. What sounds good, you might ask me? Well, animation-driven gameplay is taking a step back. That's number one. Also, using their words here, organic and consistent tackling results when trying to hit players around the field. Players will use the hit stick to trigger physics-driven animations that reward who you are as a tackler. Let me say that again. Physics-driven animations that reward who you are as a tackler. What does that mean? Is that going to take into account who the person is? Whether he's a big hitter, whether he's a secure tackler, his weight, his size, his momentum? These are all questions I need answered. You see why I said I can't just jump out the window and give my full thoughts until we know more information? Because these are the questions I have reading that. I want to know, what does that statement mean? Rewards who you are as a tackler? And it also says how much impact you brought to a pile. Okay, so are we going to see more of this situation when it's a gang tackle scenario? Are we going to see situations where it's at the goal line and here comes a guy, again, depending on who he is and what type of impact he brings to the pile. The fact that they use pile in this catches my eye. Now, again, I could be reading into this a little too deep, but clearly you can see where my thought process is. And this is all of the stuff I need to see. How does this system actually work out? As well, is physics going to have less animation-driven activity across the board? Is it just in tackling, or is this also in one-on-one scenarios? DB and wideouts, trenches. Are we still going to see a ton of two-man animation? See, these are the type of questions I have. And again, I don't know to what degree or what level this hit everything is. Maybe this is a introduction to going further away from two-man animations, because in Madden 22, they attempted to do that with certain catches. Maybe this is the next step. I don't know. I don't have the information. But these are the questions that I asked immediately. Sounds good though. I'm going to give them a sounds good. I'm intrigued for that section. The next section here is tackle battles. And this one is interesting, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's interesting. Let's read. What appears to be a new mini game within the game. I'm going to stop them right there. It's not new. Let's get back to it. What appears to be a new mini game within the game. Tackle battles happen when a user attempts to perform a conservative tackle with A or X, depending on your console. And this mini game will see users mash the A or X button to either make the tackle or break a tackle. During a tackle battle, the ball carrier will be more susceptible to fumbles depending on various attributes. Players will be required to use various mechanics like protecting the ball and give up to avoid the various hit stick and strip attempts from the defenders. Okay, now the reason why I stopped myself earlier, this isn't new. We have seen this. It was Madden 17 maybe? One of those. I wish I had my partner Smitty in this video, because I always tell y'all Smitty is the historian of this game and stuff. He would know. And I didn't do any research. I just know for sure that we saw tackle battles before, right? My question is, how have they improved that first iteration of tackle battles? Because it was removed out of the game, I believe, the very next cycle. So here's how I feel about tackle battles. I just don't want it to be cheesy. I'm semi-cool with the mini game, but a couple things have to happen. The animation and how it flows together has to be clean. It has to be seamless. If you could have it set up to where the right animation triggers based off of various factors, and I win the tackle battle or my opponent wins the tackle battle, cool. As long as it looks clean, it's believable, and it animates properly, I have really no issue with tackle battles. But this one, I'm going to put definitely a TBD on this one, because we have to see how that plays out. Again, most of us would have a recent memory of how it worked in the past when tackle battles were in the game. You guys remember that, right? So I would say to all of us in the community that remember that, think about how you felt about tackle battles then. And this is what you should be looking for now in terms of how has that improved. That is going to be the question. That is going to determine whether or not this particular part of it is a success or not. So I'll move on from there. Now, last but not least, and there's a ton to get into here. Skill-based passing. Again, what is one thing that you guys always hear me talk about in terms of passing? Smitty talks about it a lot as well. Being able to place the ball in spots. Being able to have more control over the ball placement. Not just talking about accuracy. We're just talking about placement. Throwing a guy open. Throwing it to a spot where only my guy can get it. It's either a catch or it's an incompletion. That's what we would like to see. So this kind of has me intrigued, but I'm going to reserve how I really feel until I read through the rest of it, and you guys will understand where I'm going with it. Says here, the biggest overall coming in terms of gameplay based on the information so far is to the passing game in Madden 23. Madden 23 gameplay will feature a brand new skill-based passing system that will allow players to have more control over the placement, power, and or accuracy of their passes. Keep very close attention to that and or accuracy, because I'm going to talk about that. It also says here, in addition to being able to toggle the system on and off, which is always a good thing, give people control options. Like the old passing cone from years back, the skill-based passing feature will include a number of various options that can be individually set. It says the full list of options available will be the following. Accuracy, if that is enabled and it's on, it says enabling the accuracy allows control over the outcome of the pass being accurate or inaccurate. Semi-red flag right there. Let's keep going. Land the meter in the light green area for a perfect pass every time. Wait too long to release the button and you will throw in an accurate pass. The reason why I say red flag, and I don't necessarily mean that as a bad thing, but let me explain to you what I mean when I say red flag. This kind of sounds like 2K shot meter. If it's in the green, it's perfect every time. Not 100% sure how I feel about that, only because I don't know if I want mechanics where it's absolutes, 100% accurate or inaccurate. So the biggest question for me for this particular option, because again, it's various options within the new passing system. My question with accuracy enabled, is there anything else that dictates the accuracy, whether good or bad? Do ratings factor in at all, even though there's a meter? So that would be the question, right? So this one is not as attractive to me because I don't like absolutes. I understand it from competitive standpoint. I get it there. Again, I never talk down on that community because again, if I'm playing for money, I'm going to do what I have to do to win as well. Like I don't never dive into that community because people are free to play a game the way they want to. I just feel like build a game based off of football or whatever the sport is and go from there. But if the options are in the game, whatever, play it how you want to play it. So this one is not really that attractive to me. Now, the next one is interesting. And remember what I said about that and or accuracy, because this one is strength. Strength enabled equals this. Well, if it equals on, the strength meter appears only when the accuracy meter is turned off. The strength meter lets you visually see how much power you are putting on the pass by filling up the green circles. Depending on how long you hold the pass button, this can be used to control the arc of the ball. Examples of that would be short duration hold equals a higher arc, loftier pass. We're familiar with that with the button press, right? Medium duration is a moderate arc touch pass, and long duration is a straight line bullet. Like I said, we're very familiar with that. Okay, this is your standard, pretty much, button press. All right. However, what is interesting to me is it sounds like, as it says here, let me highlight it for you guys. Look at what it says. The strength meter appears only when accuracy meter is turned off. So my question would be, do these two not play together? Or are they just saying that you visually see it if accuracy is cut off? So meaning, does it still, let me try to say this clearly so you guys understand where I'm going with it. Does it mean that it still works the same even if I don't see it? So for example, if I have accuracy on, are the button presses still going to be the same? The short duration, medium duration, long duration, are they still functioning the same? The only difference is I just don't see it if I have the accuracy meter on or toggled on, versus if I have accuracy off and I have strength on, I have a visual representation of how long I've pressed the button. But the question is the functionality the same across the board? That is the question I need answered. You guys understand what I'm saying? So let's move on. The next one here is precision pass ellipse with reticle. I hope I'm saying that word right. I always call it ellipse. Some people call it ellipse. So please feel free to correct my pronunciation. It says ellipse with reticle enabled on. Displays a gray target area indicating the area of the field the receivers are able to reach the ball. You can steer the placement of the ball by moving the reticle within the target area using the left stick. That sounds like the cone. I'm going to come back to that. Grid snapping on. The reticle will snap to the predetermined areas of the ellipse target area gray circle based on your L stick inputs, okay? Freeform reticle. Holding RT while passing the ball, unleashes freeform precision passing. This allows you to place the ball anywhere inside or outside the gray target area. This extra level of control is intended to be high risk and reward. With freeform reticle, you can place the ball anywhere you like, but your receiver may not be able to get to the ball. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now. Well, hold on. Let me come back to it. Let me just read this other little piece. The reticle speed slider. So there's a reticle speed that controls how fast the reticle moves in freeform mode. Okay. And then there's the slowdown effect. I will read this, but this, I can already tell you I'm not concerned with this. The slowdown effect. Lastly, slowdown is an option that allows you to slow down the game at the moment you execute a pass, allowing users more time to aim the pass, set strength, accuracy meters. The lower the number, the more the game is slowed down when making a pass. And the examples of that are here below. This is out for me. This kind of reminds me of, I can't remember the name of it, so guys, don't kill me, but y'all know what I'm talking about. That was in NCAA. When you slow the game down, it kind of reminds me of that. To me, that's a little cheesy. So if you're playing in a 32-man league, I'm asking right now, EA, I'm hoping you're giving the commissioners the ability to cut this off. I don't think anybody would want that in a simulation style, franchise. No. But I'm not going to poo-poo the idea. Again, it's a video game. Listen, as long as a game is a good game. So let's just speak on Madden. If this game, Madden 23, is a good representation of football, I don't care how many options that you have. As long as you can toggle things on and off, I'm cool. So we all can play in our own fishbowl. But as long as the integrity of the gameplay is the same, I'm cool. Have as many options as you want. So let me go back so I can wrap this video up. I didn't intend it for it to be this long, but I'm telling you right now, this precision pass ellipse with the reticle is going to be the way I go. And more than likely, I like this free form one, man, because that's risk and reward. But more importantly, even if you don't go with the free form reticle, I've always been a fan of the vision cone. I thought the vision cone represented a more realistic way of passing the ball, even in terms of defense. Okay, because think all the way back to the vision cone. You can literally manipulate where you're looking and force defenders to go there, even when you're playing against a user. For guys who are user controlling, you can kind of use the cone to manipulate where you're actually looking, but also it represents where you're actually looking. And if you remember from those days, you did have more control over where the ball went. So I was always a fan of that. So I always said if they ever brought back the vision cone, I wanted to see them do it in a more new age way where it makes sense. And I'm cool with that. I don't have a beef with the vision cone. Again, I know I could be speaking from a certain crowd, but I'm a more simulation type of guy. So in my mind, I think the vision cone definitely represents where you're looking, even defensively. If guys are playing zone, that should help them to kind of play their zone because they're watching the quarterback's eyes. And like I said, guys who are fast and quick with it, you can use that to manipulate your opponent, like you look people off. This is real world stuff. So if it all comes together, I'm cool with it. As long as it comes together in a video game format where it's not cheesy or overpowered, it plays with integrity, I'm cool. But I can already tell you that this would be the way I would go. Full control over the ball. So if I'm on the 10-yard line, I'm running a play action and I'm trying to hit this guy in the corner, but he's covered, I could throw that thing out of bounds. I can literally make it incomplete. That's the type of control I want to have. Or I can press my luck and try to put it in that perfect spot where only my guy can get it. And I think you're going to be able to do that with the reticle. But again, the question is, how does all of the other stuff play out? As far as bullet, touch pass, lob, my biggest question would be, is that still a thing with the button press, regardless of what option you have visually on? Sounds like it might be, but that's what I need to have confirmed. So overall, like I said, man, as I wrap up this video, this all in principle sounds good. Tackle battles, we'll see. But my intrigue level is there for the precision passing as well as the hit everything. Again, cannot make a determination until I see this stuff. I cannot advocate for or against it until I see this stuff. And you guys know I've been saying this for a couple years now. With Madden, so wait and see for me. More information will be revealed, and at some point, people will get their hands on it. And there you go. But just giving my 2 cents on what has been reported. Sounds good in theory, but we've been down this road before. So we'll wait and see. But that's about all I got, man. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I'll be interested to see that as well. And again, man, if you haven't already, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and cut on your notifications. Until next time, peace.